Not everybody has the ability to focus on the game for 10 hours a day, but throwing it up on a second monitor and AFKing while you get some work done is a great way to make some passive GP or gain some XP. And with that in mind, welcome to AFKing 9 to 5. Fellas, welcome back to some more AFKing content. Today we got an update that I was waiting for, mainly because it gives me more content to make. Today we got Forestry Part 2. With this update, we get two more things that make woodcutting and fire making a bit more AFK. Two-handed axes, which I should be testing in the next episode, but also bonfires. Okay, they're called Forester Campfires in old school, but come on, we're all gonna call them bonfires anyway. The only important info I think I need for this activity is that I need to find a bank where I can 1. Light a fire, and 2. Have that fire be close to the bank booth. This is so I don't have to run around to the fire and waste time, and therefore XP as well while banking and running between the fire. So I think the perfect bank for me is the Crafting Guild bank, since I can stand directly next to the bank chest and the fire. If you don't have access to the Crafting Guild bank for whatever reason, you could use the Grand Exchange. It's pretty similar. Today I'll be testing 8 different tiers of logs from oak all the way to redwood for 1 hour each. This will give us the XP rates for a lot of logs in the game, but since we're also spending a fair bit of money today, I'll also track the GP spent and the GP per XP. So let's get started. Fun day. First, let's talk about the most important thing. How long does it take to burn an inventory of logs? Well, it's about 1 minute and 20 seconds, so it's pretty close to cooking. This makes it a very viable AFK training option, as even the banking is the exact same as cooking. This requires very minimal clicks. The whole process is just click bank, click log, hit the escape key, click fire, hit spacebar. That's it. That's the whole process. In this section, my XP trackers might seem a bit off. There might be a small variation in the amount stated compared to the one you see. This is because I'm wearing the Pyromancer outfit, which gives me an additional 2.5% XP. But the numbers I'll be using are the base XP rates that you can expect without the outfit. Log-wise, in 1 hour, I was burning 1,415 logs, and I averaged out this number based on the variation I had between different logs and how AFK I was. This number, again, is very similar to how many fish you can cook per hour, so it is a very similar training method. But finally, let's talk about all the funny numbers, including the GP per XP and the total cost. The first tier of log I tried was oak logs. These have a level 15 requirement and cost 52 GP per log. I wanted to try this first few tiers to see if it was really viable to do this instead of doing fire making lines so you could get to Wintertod, but for each oak log you get 20 XP, so this is roughly 2.5 gold per XP. The XP was pretty slow, being only 29k per hour, and the total cost was 73.5k. If you're doing oak logs, I would really recommend you just do fire making lines. You'll get to willow logs much faster. But speaking of willow logs, they were the second tier of log that I tried. These have a level 30 requirement and cost 32 GP per log. These are actually cheaper than oak logs, mainly because they're so heavily botted and there's just so many in the game. But the XP per log is 30, which makes this 1.04 GP per XP. The XP per hour was a big jump up to 43k, and the cost per hour was 45.2k. So going up just one tier of logs made this significantly better. The third tier that I used was Teak Logs. These have a level requirement of 35, and they cost 165 GP per log. I wanted to try these ones because I know a lot of people get them from the Kingdom of Miscellanea, and maybe some people are looking for some use for them outside of construction. For Teak Logs, you get 35 XP per log, which makes them 4.64 GP per XP. The XP per hour was 50.2k, which again goes up, but is still not great. you would be better off just doing fire making lines with Willow Logs. The cost per hour for this was 233.4k, so again, this is probably a cost you don't want to incur. The next tier I tried was Maple Logs. These have a level requirement of 45 and cost only 13 coins per log. If you've ever done your kingdom, you know you have a ton of these just lying around, and a lot of people actually use these to do fire making lines to 99 because they are so cheap. Each one of these logs will give you 45 XP, meaning that the GP per XP is the most cost effective of any other log in the game, being 0.28 GP per XP. The XP per hour was 64.3k, and the cost was only 18.3k. I could see these having some use. They're, again, just kind of like basic low-level logs, but if you are looking for some AFK content and you want to level your fire making, it's not terrible. It's not incredibly fast, but it's okay. Next, I wanted to try Mahogany Logs. These are also the same. I figure a lot of people have these from Kingdom. In reality, you should probably turn these into planks if you have them, or just sell them on the GE. But the level requirement for these are level 50. They cost 418 GP per log, and the XP per log is 52.5. This makes the GP per XP 7.9. This is quite expensive for a skill that you can get a ton of XP now for free. The XP per hour was 74.2k, which again is pretty good, but the cost per hour was 591.4k. These ones are definitely not worth doing, and they are way more valuable put towards something like construction. The next tier of logs brings us back to just standard woodcutting logs. I'll be trying out Yew Logs. The level requirement for this is level 60. The cost per log is 312 GP. For each log, you'll get 67.5 XP, making the GP per XP 4.6, so almost half of our previous tier of log, and it gives us more XP, being 95.5k per hour. Yew Logs are also cheaper, costing 441.4k per hour. This is a big spend, but if you are someone who has done a ton of mole, maybe you want to use up your Yew Logs here, but again, just like Mahogany Logs are better used for construction, Yew Logs are probably better used for fletching. The second last log I used was the Magic Logs. These have a level requirement of 75 and cost 1,158 per log. For each log, you'll get 101.2 XP, making the GP per XP 11.4. These are the most expensive logs that you can use, and the XP per hour is not even that great. It's 143.1k. For the cost associated with it and the XP, you are better off just doing Wintertop. The cost comes out to 1.6 million GP per hour, and it is definitely not worth using these here. These again are better just used for fletching. And the last tier of logs that I tried were Redwood Logs. These have a level 90 requirement and cost 505 GP per log. For each log, you'll get 116.6 XP, making the GP per XP 4.3. This makes them the fourth most cost-effective log to use outside of the two lower tier ones being Oak and Willow, and of course the Maple Logs. With them being so affordable, the XP per hour is actually the best in the game, being 164.9k. And just because the GP per XP is so good, it doesn't mean they aren't costly up front, because the cost per hour is 714.5k. So the big question now is, should you do bonfires? No. Well, actually, maybe. If you need something AFK to do while working towards 85 for the diary and want to AFK a few levels, this could be viable, but only really if you use something like Maple Logs. But if you're someone who's just trying to get 50 fire making to unlock Wintertod, you're better off just doing fire making lines for the short amount of time it will take. I can see this having some very small use cases of letting people who are going for 200 mil XP get a little bit of AFK time. But honestly, Wintertod is just better XP than Redwood Bonfires, and also Redwood fire making lines is significantly more XP per hour as well. The only thing bonfires really have going for them is the AFK time. So this isn't to say you shouldn't do them, but just be wary that you could make money doing Wintertod or get faster XP somewhere else. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for bonfires. Thank you to the big fellas DansSmeg'ead and LokiFM, as well as the fellas Snacks, Jujo, and iTalk. Bonfires are okay, and you could do them if you really want to, but I honestly can't strongly recommend them. This is a pretty underwhelming update. I do wonder if they are going to change the XP rates at all, because I don't think anyone will really use these, just because other methods are so much better. And if you do want to learn more about the superior fire making training method being Wintertod, you should see my video on screen now, or if you're looking for some more AFK content, you should also see my playlist. But that's all I've really got to say, so I'll see you in the next one.